Let's circle around to the topic of potential conflict of interest, where we discussed a board member of the New York Times and founder of Ariel Investments, and how it has over $200 million invested in companies that benefit from Reynolds' business ventures. That includes Paramount, Capital One, Microsoft, all of which have had and have financial ties to Reynolds, whether from film, marketing, brand partnerships. Now focus in on Paramount, which currently has 5 upcoming projects with Ryan. I decided to try to break things down as best as I could based on standard industry estimates, based on what we know he has made, what his films have made. We calculated the investment and revenue outlook. So in the charts, we see an estimated investment per project ranges from $62 million on the low end to $125 million on the high end. We broke it down. These are our estimates, again, based off the research we've done. So that's $310 million to $625 million total invested across 5 projects. Obviously, again, depending on the project. And then let's now talk about potential earnings. Here you see the breakdown, and that led us to an estimated low revenue across all 5 films being about $675 million, and then on the high end projection, nearly $2 billion, which is a lot. That means if these projects succeed, Paramount could walk away with up to $1.275 billion in profit. That's taking the revenue and the cost, and again, based on our estimates. Now, if we're looking at, if there's a poor perception now of Ryan and therefore he won't be successful anymore, again, this is all hypothetical. This would be the fear of somebody who would invest in Ryan, so Paramount or people investing in Paramount. We actually looked at the pattern of revenue and cost of the Green Lantern out of all movies to see what happens when a movie bombs. And on the bottom chart, you kind of see that breakdown of what the potential loss could be. So applying a similar pattern of loss, these new projects could result in over $1.2 billion in missed revenue if they fail to perform, which is a huge risk. And I think that puts a lot into perspective. I think it's very difficult sometimes for the public to remember or even to know or realize how much money the company invests in somebody and how much money they make for them. And I think it's actually important. Because if we're trying to think about, speculate, hypothesize, because we don't know for sure, we don't have enough evidence, but if we're trying to think of a motive of why somebody would be more inclined or be more desperate to do something or support someone, it's really important to look from their perspective, what would happen if they don't? What would happen to them if somebody else fails and they don't do anything about it? So when a New York Times board member has a company that has hundreds of millions tied up in companies that depend on Ryan Reynolds' success, the stakes become a little clearer. These aren't just films, they're investments, and protecting them may explain a lot more than we think. Again, even more so because of how much work Ryan does beyond just the acting for a company like Paramount, and the commitment they have with him because they re-upped with him in the beginning of 2024, and all the projects they already have in motion. It's a lot. And hopefully I broke this down in a way that could be helpful.